We're outside John Fisher Public School near Yonge and Eglinton, where this summer they'll be just steps away from a construction site. This is where a 35-story building is set to go up. It was approved by the Ontario Municipal Board, even though it was opposed by the community and the city. Now, there were questions earlier this year about whether or not the students here would have to be relocated somewhere else during the 2-year project. But tonight at a TDSB committee meeting, they presented a plan that they say will keep students safe while the school stays in session.
We agree with the findings of this, the risk assessment, and that's why we're adopting all 14 of their recommendations with regards to safety mitigation. Double-pane
windows, air conditioning, and the relocation of a playground. Those are just some of the measures that would be put into place at John Fisher Public School under an agreement between the developer KG Group and the TDSB.
I'm very thankful that the TDSB is taking the appropriate measures to ensure that the children are kept safe. I think there's more to be done.
The agreement passed by the TDSB's planning committee stemmed from a risk assessment report that found John Fisher could safely remain open during the construction of a 35-story building next door, as long as certain measures were put in place. Others would include a 12-foot boundary wall, air monitoring, and removal of asbestos and lead from materials.
Now they say, oh, we're meeting them all, but they don't, of course, tell us that what they're meeting has been watered down quite a bit.
Parents say the agreement lacks specifics, and while KG Group and the TDSB have both committed to having third-party monitors, parents point out they haven't outlined the consequences if the developer breaches the agreement. The TDSB says it'll have to be a collaborative effort.
I think there are still a lot of questions that parents have just with respect to how everything's going to transpire on a day-to-day basis. So with respect to traffic, that's a very busy street.
If there are any concerns, of course, on behalf of parents or the community, they can bring that to the attention of the school, the city, the developer, and we'll pass that along to the right agency if needed.
Implementing the measures won't come cheap. KG Group has committed to contributing $500,000, and the TDSB says they also have some money budgeted for capital repairs, some of which they were already planning to do. But about $125,000 will still have to come from the TDSB's pocket.
This is not acceptable. Any money that is needed to be spent toward this should be coming from the applicant next door, the developer. None of these things should be paid for by the public.
Now, while the students may not be displaced, the daycare here will be. They'll have to be relocated during the summer months when construction begins. Now, the agreement still has to be approved by the full Board of Trustees at next week's council meeting.